Hi, guys, and welcome to the show. I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and we are going to continue our journey, the Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. As I promised, I am going to go through the entire book, entire book, and I'm right now I'm in the introduction, and I really want to finish that today because I do want to get into the book. I feel like something's on my nose. Okay. All right. So we started talking about some of the things that took place within our industry and also with our hair. And so we just want to really look at what happened in the past so we know how we got where we are today. And some of you are doing really well. And I want to say, as I said before on the show, some of you are doing really well with your hair transitioning. Some of you are struggling. Some of you did the big chop and you just said, forget it, I'm going to start over. And then you're struggling. And some of you are wearing your relaxers and you are struggling. And some of you are wearing relaxers and you're doing well. It does not matter where you are. I'm going to help you understand your hair and scalp in a way where you can stay in the driver's seat. Okay? And you use my book, Stylist, as an assistant, or other folks. You just use that to assist you in your journey with your hair. Okay? And this is about having healthy hair. All right. I was a stylist, as I said, for many years before I went back to school and became a trichologist. Really, I got to the point where I was really depressed behind, and I don't get depressed because I think that's an insult to God. And I know there's clinical reasons why we do, so please don't email me and say there aren't. I know there are, but I'm talking about the kind where you just start feeling bad about yourself and where you are in life. And you don't have to feel that way. So this is something that happened with me professionally because I just was not happy with what I saw in the industry and what I saw with my clients. So I prayed about it, and it's just like I was led to go back to school, and that's when I became a trichologist. It was difficult, it was tough, it was a lot of years of studying, but I'm here. And I'm so thankful because I have both the experience as a stylist, as a Black woman with natural hair and once chemically treated hair. I have, and as a trichologist. So I feel like I'm very equipped to be in front of you to help you. So please, please, please keep the questions coming. In our next session, before we start, I'm going to answer questions. We're not doing that today, but I'm going to answer your questions, and then I'm going to email you telling you which video, with the link telling you which video your answer is on. Okay? All right. So it got to a point where only a small percentage of my clientele or the new people that came in really had healthy hair. And the ones who had healthy hair were the ones who really were involved. And you would think it was the ones who went to the salon often. It wasn't. It was the ones who understood how to take care of their hair at home between their salon visits. Isn't that something? We have many people with great stylists. They're doing some things, but they don't go every 2 or 3 days. They're going once every 2 weeks. Some people were once a week. But they had a very active life. Some were swimming and sweating. Women are working out. They were doing all kinds of things. And their hair needed more attention. So I began to see the numbers drop of women who had healthy hair. And so there was just a lot going on with that. We were trying to manage our hair. In our quest to control it and manage it, we were simply destroying it. We would have the styles. Remember, I spoke about the wrap. We thought that was it. We wore it because it was easy, but we still had problems with it as well. Many people had pretty hairstyles, pretty haircuts, but the products and education available did not really address both their style issue and their care issue. And that's really important. Whenever you think about your hair, you want to think about how it looks. That's our motivation when we look at the mirror. But then you got to think about your care because let's face it, part of your care is your foundation. Your foundation is your scalp and your hair. It's how your hair looks, how your hair feels. It's what condition it's in. In short, it's how healthy it is. And if your hair is not healthy, it's not going to look like this because you're not addressing the care needs. your hair. You won't have the fullness. You just won't have these things that are going to give you that vibrant look to your hair, which is what we crave for, whether we're wearing it natural or straight, right? I know I'm right. So that's what happened. We had to be, let's see, I'm going to read this because I want to get it here. There had to be a way for Black women to have a hairstyle they wanted and a healthy hairstyle, healthy hair, healthy scalp. And that was important. Taking charge. And that's what I wanted you to think about. Most people are very reactive. Oh, now I have problems, so I need to react. I want you to be proactive, okay? Sometimes that means that you're going to do some things because you don't want to have something bad happen. So you're going to plant all the good seeds, taking care of your hair, taking care of your scalp, and so that you don't have problems. So you can have a healthy hairstyle or have a beautiful style because your scalp and hair is healthy. It's really important. Let's see, when I took charge as a professional, what I began to do is just enroll in all types of classes, product knowledge classes that manufacturers held, because I wanted to learn about hair products. I really did. I'm not a chemist, but I wanted to learn, and I started doing a lot of research. And my goal was to learn as much as possible about the hair and the scalp and the styling products, because I wanted to know what it actually did to the hair. And this particular introduction is just to let you know a little bit more about me, because I know that you don't. Some of you know what you hear, you know what you see, you know what I say, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about me. And I tried to put that in my introduction, how I came to be as it relates to these books and things that I'm doing now. Okay, I was a platform artist. Loved it. Loved styling hair. I was a platform artist. I was pretty much an expert in my skill, and I'm not just bragging. I loved it. I could style hair on a platform, and 5 minutes, just, all these things. I loved it. I wanted to work with manufacturers because I wanted to become educated. I wanted some answers. Well, ultimately, all my help came from God. I just have to tell you. I prayed and prayed to my Heavenly Father for guidance and direction for answers. And it was like I was back in school. I began to research all textures of hair, fine, medium, coarse, all types of hair, from African kinky to Asian straight, and looked at chemicals, products that were greasy, products that were oily. And there's a difference. Grease is really dense. We don't want them ever on our hair. Oils are good, okay? And we'll talk about that more. There was just heated tools. How does heated tools affect the hair? What happens? And I learned that you can thin out with heated tools. All types of hairsprays, things like that. And every book that I could find. And I even studied books with the dermatologist study because I thought it was very important. I was not trying to practice as a dermatologist because I couldn't. I wasn't licensed. I hadn't gone to school for that. But I did want to understand a little bit more about what a patient experienced when they went in for an examination. And what are some of the things that the dermatologist would find. I wanted to know more about that. It was very important to me because as I teach my consultants, and I have many consultants that work with me within our facility, I teach them that you have to be into the patient. You have to, and the only way to be into them, not just feeling them, but into them, meaning that you fulfill a need. If a person says, oh, well, she won't let me use gel, you're like, oh, I understand. I like gel. No, that's feeling them way too much. But if a person says she won't let me use gel, you're into them. You said, listen, you've got problems with your hair. This is the reason why you shouldn't use gel, because it dehydrates the hair, and that's being into what they're needing. And the patient is a lot more satisfied in their help. You're helping them. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more into my patients. So I wanted to know what they experienced when they went to the dermatologist's office, because I could relate to that, and then I could explain some of the examinations because I studied them. Not that I could do them, but I could explain them to them a little bit further. Many people went to salons, and they work with the stylists work with them. They looked at their hair. They noticed that the hair was becoming shorter and shorter. They really did not say anything. The stylist didn't say anything. They suggested weaves. Some of you are covering it up right now with weave. That is the new thing. We are going to find a way to look good, okay? We're going to be able to get in that mirror and say, oh, I'm beautiful. And even if it means covering up with a wig or weave. Am I saying there's something wrong with wig and weaves? Not at all. I just think it's very important that we understand our own hair and scalp, and we don't just cover up damaged hair with wig or weave. We make sure that we're treating, and we have weave programs where you can treat your hair under your weave, but you want to stabilize. So you start out with a wig and then you go into the weave. But people were just covering up. And so when it came out, the problem was even worse. Even cases were alopecia, especially when we had some scalp problems and we covered those up, because scalp problems left untreated will lead to alopecia, and that's the type of baldness that comes from skin damage. It's FEA. If you want to go on my website, follicular epidermis alopecia, or FEA, you can learn more about it. Okay, really, I'm going to read this. What is going on with hair care? Products and hair product programs are not protecting nor preserving the hair or scalp. The styling products and techniques we're using are causing damage to our hair. Many of my colleagues in the hair care profession will argue that hair is hair and it's all the same. I strongly disagree. Although all strands have three basic layers, the cuticle, cortex, and medulla, they're made from protein cells, fibers, kinky and straight, but they're not the same. Kinky hair is structurally different, but also needs, structurally different, but also needs different hair and scalp styling and maintenance products than straight hair does. Historically, we have let other races of people tell us what to do. In other words, in many cases, when products are made, we're not at the table. Textbook products are being made and deciding what we should do and what we should have on our hair and scalp. And that's especially with our hair, because with our scalp, there's a lot of similarities, an extreme amount. But with the hair, it's really a problem, because you have not just the care issue like you have with the scalp, but you also have the style issue. Okay, so let's see. In my interviews with women who have hair problems, I have heard that lots of excuses for why they cannot seem to change their bad habits. We put anything and everything in front of hair care, and that's really, really important. It's something that we do. So this is something that we've got to change. We have got to look at our foundation and say, okay, hair care is the first thing we do. The next thing we want to think of is hairstyle. And a lot of you may say that that's what you're doing, but you're not. You think, how am I looking? Hopefully it doesn't damage. We're getting better. I know, guys, we are, and I love you for that. But you've got to do more. And we can, can't we? We can do more. All right, and that's what this is all about. Okay, I'm going to tell you something that happened. It was one evening doing a round table on my live TV show. I do a show that's called Ask the Hair Doctor. Matter of fact, I just recorded one last night. I just had a live TV show last night. And it's called Ask the Hair Doctor, and it's on our local station. And sometimes I'll do roundtable discussions. I just get folks in the community to come in and we'll talk. And maybe we'll do something like that on one of my channels. But one evening during this roundtable discussion, I had a guest on my show. And we were talking about hair, of course. And then one of the people in the round table, they said, when I was a little girl, I got a relaxer so young that I was really an adult before I really knew what my hair type was like. I really didn't even know my texture. So you now have a generation of people, and you have to ask yourself, those of you who are putting chemicals in children's hair really young, you're going to raise a generation that does not, they didn't even have an opportunity to decide if they wanted to be natural or straight. And I think you guys need to think about that. But they don't know whether they don't even know their texture. They don't know their type of hair that they have. They have an idea, but we're relaxing so quickly and we're really causing them to lose hair. So you have a generation. When kitty perms came about, it was like, wow, we have kitty perms, we're safe. No, kitty perms are same, they just work a little slower. It's not mild. There's nothing mild about a relaxer. Our relaxers have the ability to soften, straighten, thin, and dissolve your hair shaft. Period. Because of the pH. Okay? All right, the answer. After many years, thousands of interviews, countless of hours of testing, studying, I realized that more than 90% of my clients were suffering from some of the same problems. Although they came in from different sources. See, that's what you got to remember. Some of these problems I've got short hair syndrome. It came from chemicals. It came from heated tools. Or I'm natural and I still have short hair syndrome. What did that come from? That came from mishandling of the hair. So many different things. Dehydration. So we have to look at the fact that a lot of us have some of the same problems, or a lot of you out there, but it's coming from different sources, so you're not understanding. First, I had clients to come in for consultations, and we just went through the process of learning about the hair. Then, at that point, once I became a trichologist, we started doing analysis. That's where I do microscopic and physical analysis of the hair and scalp, and I began to speak with their patient or client about their problem, put you on a program, and then determine what you should do. And it's very important to follow it. This morning, I have I have new patient classes. And this morning, I had a new patient class. And I have them 4 times a week. I have 2 a.m.s and 2 p.m.s for folks who work. And this morning, one of the things that I wanted to mention to the patients is that you have to follow the instructions. It's just like putting something on a shelf and saying, okay, this is what I have. I have this great instructions, but it's just on the shelf. That's where it'll be. But when you take it off the shelf and use it, then it's going to make a big difference. So what you do does make a difference. We have to stop and recognize our problem. I can assist you with that, guys. But if you're in an area and you have a trichologist or you have a cosmetologist that practice healthy hair, get their assistance. Get my book. Use anything and anybody that you need to help you get on track. Listen to my blogs. We're going to go through this journey together. Next time I see you, I am going to, next time you see me, I'm going to answer some of your questions, and then we're going to go into the book, and we're going to do well. Okay? Thank you so much. I love you. To God be the glory in Jesus. You know who I serve. I'll see you next in a couple of days, because I'm going to start doing these 2 days a week so we can get through this book, maybe before Christmas. What do you think? Thanks a lot. I'm Lisa Akberry, your hair doctor, and I'll see you in a few days. Bye-bye.